Welcome to Bitstorm, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Ben Slinger, and with me, as always, is Trevor Scott.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing, good sir?
I'm okay. I've got my drink. I've got my random word generator in front of me. I've got a friend on the other end of a Skype call. Discord. We're going to record a podcast, shall we?
Sounds good.
So I think we're going to, as usual, play some click pitch. Trevor, do you want to do the little description?
Yep. So we've both got a random word generator in front of us. On the count of 3, 2, 1, click. We're going to click refresh. And then we're going to take those two words and sort of mash them together, come up with a couple of game design ideas, and then click again.
I got a brand new word masher this week, so it's going to get it nice and smooth. They'll just really blend nicely.
3, 2, 1, click.
Asthma.
Vote.
Wait, what was it? You broke up for a second.
Vote. V-O-T-E.
Vote. Okay. Asthma. Vote.
Okay. So it's a polling booth management game.
Management? Okay.
Where you're like the team leader having to organize, like the lines and all this sort of stuff. So you sort of,
so you get to like lay down tape in the school gym of where people should line up.
Yep. You've got to work out, which people are your fast people that can search through names really quickly. You got,
right.
Like,
so you got to interview people and they've got their little skills for like observation and data entry and,
and I like the idea that this is in the future so that there is actually like electronic voting machines instead of stupid paper that we've got here.
Okay.
So you got a technician that has to go around and fix the broken ones when people get annoyed and beat the hell out of it. So where the asthma comes in.
That's kind of one of the downsides of electronic voting machines is that they can break down. Really, the only thing that can break down on a paper machine is your pencil lead breaks, but anyway.
Or fire breaks out and then it's all gone.
I think it's fireproof electronic voting machines. Maybe you have to decide how much money to spend on them.
Yes, but once you put your vote in, it goes up to the cloud and it is just, it's no longer sitting in the premises anymore. Whereas all the paper votes are still there because they're not being sent up to the cloud.
And rains those lovely votes down on whoever hacked the most voting machines. So, sorry, the asthma?
So, asthma. Your guy is prone to like if he has to move around too fast, he has to use this puffer. But you've only got like one puffer to get you through the day. So it's all about managing how much he has to actually move. Okay, so there's just a lot of delegation, a lot of pointing. Maybe I feel like this could be a VR game. Oh, that's where I was about to go. The idea being that,
just because there'd be some good like physicality around having to bring it up to your mouth and press the thing. But also, because VR, generally you don't want your player to move around too much just because there's not good locomotion options yet. Do you make them like do the arm swinging thing so they actually get a bit puffed out? Like to move, you have to swing your arms back and forth?
The LA Noire, swing your arms back and forth to actually move forward.
Yeah. But as you do it, you just hear the breathing of your character get more and more laboured. And like if you do it too much, their vision starts to dim a bit.
Yep.
And then you got to use up one of your precious puffs.
Yeah, I like the idea of having a counter of, like, as you're shaking it, it's sort of, he guesses how many puffs are left in it. Because I love the idea of being able to shake it and then...
Haptic feedback, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Put one of those Joy-Cons on there.
Exactly.
Tell you how many ice cubes are left in that thing. Fucking hell. We've done that joke too many times when we both go there.
Yeah, I knew that you were about to go there, so I'm like, I've just got to, I've got to get in there.
I only got 2.5 ice cubes left of puffs left in my but I kind of like the idea of a game where you have to in VR command people, like you have to point to people. It's like, you go over there and some sort of context sensitive thing, and they know what to do. It's almost a bit of a real time strategy.
I remember back in PS2 days, they were able to actually work out how to do voice control. Like you could do some basic voice commands. Well,
oh yeah, they worked it out, and then they quickly worked out how annoying it was to play.
Guess what? They've worked out it's back, and it works nice and easy. You go over there.
I think they've just forgotten how annoying it is.
Fix Machine 2. It's really immersive.
Right. Yep. And so, no, it's all right. I won't get. I was going to go down some political path, but it's fine. We'll leave it there.
You don't need to go down a political path because this is the local election. So it's just for something.
So there's no politics involved.
Definitely not.
It's a very small town. There's only one
candidate.
One candidate anyway.
But everyone has to vote.
Well, they could still do write-in votes, I guess. And so is there? Well, I was going to say, is there a counting section at the end? But you're saying they're all electronic. If they break, are there paper backups?
Yeah, there's a little docket that prints out the side.
Yeah, you have to grab it. So people have to grab them. It's not like it just prints it out and goes into a container to be counted later. It literally prints out the side like a receipt printer, and your people have to go along and collect them before they get too long.
Oh, because I'm actually thinking that because it's a what's it called? Because it's an electronic system, maybe where you're standing, if you turn around, there's a docket printer right there. And each person's vote that comes through, it doesn't actually say their name or anything like that. It just has...
No, it just like tallies them.
It has who they voted for, but it doesn't actually have their name or anything on it.
Yeah,
so it's, relatively secure.
Relatively. Until there's someone there in a quiet period and they're the only person voting at that point. They walk in, look around,
vote for Donald Trump and walk out.
Look at you next to the docket printer, sort of look a bit shifty, go in there, and as they go in there, behind you hear zzz. Yeah, there's just one more vote for the terrible candidate. Yes, Donald Trump in a local election. That's how far he's fallen.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, click.
Okay. Amphitheater.
Trace. Yeah.
So we've sort of done ones like this before, but with amphitheater, my mind obviously went to some sort of acting exercise or something like actors on a stage. I guess that doesn't necessarily have to be the case, but Trace brought me to Overwatch.
As in Tracer.
As in Tracer, who can move themselves back in time, sort of, to where they were previously.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe there's maybe it's like a theater or a music, some sort of performance. But if you fuck something up, you can go back in time a little bit to try to get sort of the best performance possible. It's like, fuck, I hit a wrong note on the guitar. Start from there. I guess that's just Guitar Hero with a rewind mechanic then. But
yeah. See, where my mind went, and I don't think it's any better, was as soon as I read Trace, I just thought of being one of those, either the guys that trace the body in chalk. And then I thought the amphitheater, okay, there's someone who's been murdered.
Yep.
And you just happen to be first on scene, so you draw in chalk around the person.
Okay. That's the opening scene.
That's the opening scene.
Of this intense narrative experience. I like that. Someone's been murdered on stage, but because we do it too often, you don't play the investigating officer.
No, you play the tracer.
For fuck's sake. No, I don't think you play the tracer either. Because what are you going to do? You're just going to follow... I think you should play one of the other actors or something. Maybe what happens is the scene opens and it guides you to trace around this dead body on the floor. You've just discovered them. Or you've just come in, there's this dead body on the floor. The tutorial tells you to trace around them.
Mm-hmm.
And then the police come in and they're like, what the fuck are you doing? We don't do that. That's just in movies. And you find out that you're the set designer and that's why you like to draw on things. And then there are other drawing mechanics in the game. Police just you've just contaminated a crime scene with your fucking chalk.
Especially because it's not dustless chalk. It's it's put lots of chalk dust all into this.
It's actually a Cirque du Soleil. It's a Cirque du Soleil performance, and it's their fucking dust for grabbing onto to keep their hands grippy or whatever. So it's just gone everywhere.
Clap your hands in it, and dust clouds go everywhere.
Totally. They tried to just draw them around in chalk, but it's actually just that chalk dust, and so they ended up just covering the entire body, and so the chalk outline is just when they lift the body up, there's no chalk where they were. It's like a stencil.
Okay. I'm trying to think, does this character have something to do with the murder itself? So are they possibly a suspect?
That'd be interesting if you play someone who's possibly a suspect. So not only are you sort of ending up finding things about the other people involved and the director and the other actors and, the person who funded the production. But yeah, maybe that's even the twist at the end. You're the killer. It's a game. You never find out. You never know who you are going into a game.
No. And, in a lot of different stories, you've got something called an unreliable narrator. So it's pretty much they're trying to say to themselves that they aren't the ones who did this, when in reality they've just sort of blocked it out of their mind. And
well, no, I kind of like the idea that this person did it and they know they did it and they're not sorry, but the way that you show the player these things is you've come in after the case of the murder when they've cleaned everything up and whatever. The player's not going to suspect that the person they're playing is the murderer. So you're going around so-called investigating this thing from the player's point of view, but from the character's point of view, you're actually going around to find out who knows anything because you're going to fucking kill them too.
It's in the third act when you realize that all the evidence is pointing to you, and that's when your character starts going, okay, so how are we going to pin it on someone else?
Yeah, that's it. They finally let some info drop that actually lets it out that they were the killer the whole time. That'd be kind of cool. I think it would give the player a real shock to the system.
It's hang on, why didn't they tell me that I've got to deal with this? I wouldn't have investigated so well.
Yeah. You inadvertently create your own evidence chain. I like the idea of this being one of those games as well, though, where people will then want to go back and play it for a second time because you'll obviously drop all these clues in there that only make sense once you know the twist.
Yep.
It's very Sixth Sense.
Oh, geez, that film had a lot of great clues.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I like the idea of doing a game like that. That's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. 3 to 1. Popularity.
Acre. So it's set in the 100-acre wood.
Okay, yep.
And
Tigger and Winnie the Pooh are holding a popularity contest.
Yeah, maybe it's a bit of the sort of tropes of those high school movies, and they're trying to do a makeover on Eeyore to turn him into a popular kid.
So Winnie the Pooh bets Tigger that he can't, a honeypot or whatever, that he can't make Eeyore the most popular kid or most popular animal in the 100-acre wood.
Exactly. Exactly. So, Jesus. Wait, which way would this go? I think it'd be more like Tigger bets Winnie the Pooh that he can't.
Okay.
Is that what you said? No, you said the other way.
I said it the other way around.
Because I feel like Tigger's more like the asshole jock, and Winnie the Pooh is sort of he's actually the nice guy, but he's popular, and so he sort of does what the other guys tell him to do. So it's that whole thing of he ends up really liking Eeyore, but then can't tell him that it's a bet, and that's why he's been hanging out with him.
Oh, God. It's all for that honeypot, though.
That's it. He wants the honeypot. Yeah, I mean, that's
keep the eye on the prize.
Pooh would do anything for that honeypot.
So Christopher Robin's obviously got to come in at some stage.
Yep.
Is he like the judge?
Sort of role. Yeah, I guess, because they're all his toys, right? They want to be they want to be popular to him.
Mm-hmm.
And, he never plays with Eeyore because Eeyore's a bit of a stick in the mud.
Okay, so now that we've got the premise,
yep.
How do you play
it? Good question. I usually do that to you.
I know.
So what's the gameplay? I mean, it sort of just feels like some sort of... It's obviously heavily narrative. Do you play as Winnie the Pooh, or do you play as like Piglet or something who's kind of watching this go down and interacting with people and running around in the 100-acre wood with a bit of a, quest to do, like fetch quests
and shit. Yep.
Yeah, and just to sort of give you a sense of the space and the people there and where you are in the story.
Yeah.
Maybe sort of similar to the new King's Quest games.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, where there's a lot of sort of cutscene-y story stuff, and in between you just solve relatively straightforward action-based or inventory-based puzzles that aren't super complex. Yeah.
That works well. I like the idea of there being like 1 or 2 times that you take over Winnie the Pooh, because I really want an oh bother button that you can just
bother.
Oh bother.
Oh bother.
Basically, you're running down the road, just clicking as fast as you can.
Oh bother. Oh bother. Oh bother. Yeah, we'll have to get what's his name in to record oh bother in a bunch of different ways.
No, just get Kevin Smith to do it. He does a pretty good job of it nowadays.
All right, and so what are the things that Winnie the Pooh does to like try to bring Eeyore and make him more popular? Like, what is it about a toy that makes Christopher Robin like them that they try to sort of force onto Eeyore against his will, basically, or against his?
I like the idea
his character.
That Eeyore is rather dirty at the start, so it's literally cleaned down, a bow.
Well, he's usually got a bow in his tail anyway, doesn't he?
Yeah, but a clean bow,
right? A new shiny bow, sequins, bedazzled.
Yep. Need to get a mani pedicure. It's like mani pedi.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's definitely the makeover scene, but I think there's a bit like there's the sort of start where Winnie the Pooh's sort of trying to build up his trust. Go to things that Eeyore likes, because remember, the trope in these movies is always the main character starts really getting to like the person that they were originally just sort of trying to prank or trying to. They were making fun of. And it all leads to the makeover. And of course, so then you've got Piglet's running off to find the sequins and the bloody bedazzler and whatever. And that's all leading to that scene, of course, where Winnie the Pooh's waiting and Eeyore comes out and he's all done up and Winnie the Pooh's mouth just drops because looks so amazing, and he shakes his ass and that new tail pinned onto his butt swings back and forth as he lets it out. It flies and it comes loose and flies off and hits Winnie the Pooh in the face, and he's just got that like a gape look as he picks this tail with the bedazzled bow off his head.
Oh God.
Should we do this, Winnie the Pooh? Let's do it.
Let's do it, motherfucker.
Let's go to the party. I'm popular now.
I don't want to hang out with you anymore. You're not popular enough.
But then, of course, someone lets it slip. Probably, I don't know, Rabbit. That it was a bet the whole time.
Either Rabbit or... I'm seeing that maybe the owl.
Or maybe the gopher pops up. Hey, Eeyore, it was a bet the whole time. He doesn't really like you.
That's when he goes back into his depressed state.
Yeah. Is this true, Winnie the Pooh? Oh, Eeyore, but I like you now. All right. I can't do good Winnie the Pooh impressions. I think my Eeyore was okay. 14th.
50.
So the 14th 50 is 700. Right? I don't know.
So I was actually thinking the 14th century and the 50th year.
Okay. So
14th century is what? Yeah, 1350.
Right. What happened in 1350?
Was that around the plague?
I'm going to look it up. Started on a Friday.
Yep, Black Death, 1350.
Jesus, you definitely know your history better than I do. Black Death first appears in Scotland.
1347 to 1351. So awesome. Okay. So it's yet again another narrative game. And it's just the story of a farmer and his family. And he finds out that his young son has caught the plague from what they believe to be the rats. I kind of like the idea that maybe the father is a rat catcher.
Okay. Maybe they are rats. I don't know whether we'd tell a story about the Black Plague where just rats take the place of humans, as in anthropomorphic rats play, it's not that they are rats in a human world, it's a rat world. Or we do rats in a human world during plague from their point of view.
When you said they're rats, my mind immediately went to they're just a whole group of rats in like a human suit.
It's like 300 rats in human clothes.
In human clothes, sort of like.
Okay, I like this actually. And it's obviously it's in 1350, and so rats are not very well liked at this point because they are believed to have been spreading this disease.
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
So in the opening cutscene, you see the father of the family. He goes out. He's a rat catcher, and he basically gets accidentally killed by this group of rats. And so they
wait. I like the idea that you set him up as a rat catcher. He's like, okay, bye family. I'm going out. I need to make the small amount of money I can make today. I hope I don't get the plague.
Yeah. He
goes out, and there's a stranger out there.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, stranger, do you need help? The stranger doesn't answer. And, he's hesitant because this plague is going around. They don't really know much about it. He doesn't want to, he doesn't know what's happening here. But he goes closer because he's a compassionate man, and he wants to make sure that this person isn't in need of help. And maybe they're faced away from him.
Yeah.
And he gets close. He's like, sir or madam, or I don't know. Probably a woman, if we do, I feel like he'd be more likely to be really worried about someone dressed as a woman. She's got the bonnet on and stuff. I don't know the historical bloody clothing. It gets close, and then she turns around, and it's just this face full of rats. And it's just they just attack him.
But I like the idea that they didn't mean to kill him, because then the next thing is they decide to actually disguise themselves as him and sort of Octodad style, basically go back and pretend that they're actually looking after.
So are they actually infected with the Black Death? How does he die then?
Well, that rats themselves
didn't actually. I know.
Yeah. It was the fleas that they've got on them. But
right.
They don't realize that, they're actually causing it. So I like the idea that, they've been disguising themselves as person to person, as you find out through backstory as they go. But every single family that they try to help end up getting the Black Plague. So it's sort of their story of
okay.
What's actually happening.
So is it controlled in sort of an Octodad sort of way where you almost flow across the floor as... is it? I think we maybe did another control mechanic like this, but is there a way to sort of loosen up the rats' grip on each other and then tighten it up again so that you're more human shaped?
Yeah, I think you've got maybe a morale system that
you need to feed these hundreds of rats.
If all the rats are well fed, then they're going to listen to what you want them to do. But if not, then you get groups of them, your right leg go off.
They just run off. Yeah, I love this idea that you finally found some food, you're making your way towards it, but morale is being lost, and so you're just losing a few rats here and there. They just run out the pant leg and run away. And it makes you move even slower because you got less rats to move these clothes. Can you get down to one rat? Is it a head rat? Literally, that rat is the head.
I think you play the head rat.
Okay, yeah.
And your whole idea is if in the combat bits and pieces, because I like the idea that during the story, people come after you with pitchforks and stuff,
right?
Right. Because they realize that
they think you're spreading the plague.
You go town to town or something like that.
Yeah,
but that's only when they realize that you're actually just a group of rats.
Yeah. So there's combat. You're saying
there's combat.
Do you just throw rats? How does that work? Is it kind of? Have you seen the movie Stalks? Has your son watched that?
No.
Okay. In the movie Stalks, there's a really funny scene where there's this pack of wolves chasing after them, and they just like go, "Wolves, form of boat," and they like all turn themselves into a boat by like attaching to each other and stuff. Maybe the rats can do something like that. They can basically like take on the form of a hammer and smash someone. Just like rats go flying and then like scatter back, like scramble back into the body of this beast.
Okay, so what I like about that is maybe there's at certain points in the story you come across something that like is a massive hammer, and you see, you know, sort of like a blacksmith hitting down on it, and you as the head rat sort of realize, oh, that's a
right,
pretty cool
you get
idea.
Your new
so
skills, yeah.
You work out through like a small tutorial how to you know, coerce the rats to get into that sort of thing, and then now you've got a hammer as one of your tools, basically. One of your tools that you can transform into.
Yeah.
I kind of don't like the idea of them being able to turn into a raft.
No. Well, that's endgame, maybe. They turn into a cure for the plague. No. I just I love this idea of basically like a T-1000, but it's rats. So like it learns these new things it can turn into.
It walks up to some bars and moves through, but the clothes are left behind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I kind of like the idea that you can like. I'm almost picturing this now as an open world thing, where like you know how in Grand Theft Auto you can just come up to a car and like throw the person out and get in the car. I like the idea you can just come up to a person, pull them out of their clothes, and like take over those clothes. Like the rats just take over.
Like Hitman 47.
Yeah, but it's more just like they can be. You don't have to kill them or anything.
No, you just infect them with the plague.
Well, that might be a side effect, but I mean, if someone walks up to you and all of a sudden rats come out of them and start like going into your clothes, you're probably going to get out of those clothes pretty quickly. Either that or the rats force you out of the clothes. And so, yeah, you just like, you come up to someone, force them out of their clothes, they run off naked screaming, but you got a new outfit.
Oh, God.
All right. 3, 2, 1, click.
Unfortunate.
Pillar. This is The Sims, except there's a bug where there's a pillar in the middle of the house that you can't move. It's bugged out. You can't delete it. No, I don't know. Unfortunate pillar.
Okay, I'm sort of getting a supernatural vibe from this. That like there's some scientists who have traveled to this new land and broken into like a tomb of some sort.
Okay.
And there's like this weird engraving all over this central pillar, and it's maybe about the unfortunate things that befall this group. So again, another narrative sort of game, but it's you play like a scientist an archaeologist sort of thing. So you can sort of, you know, one of your tools is a brush, and you can use it to like brush away some of the dirt so you can see like the writing and that sort of stuff, and then you got to do some analysis and turn it more into a supernatural curse investigation sort of thing.
Okay, I like the idea of archaeologists finding a pillar with some sort of supernatural curse, but I think what it is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a statue of a person on the top of that pillar.
Okay.
And the archaeologist brushes away the dust and reads what's on there. And as they read it, this person comes to life.
Okay, what is this person?
Well, there's someone who was cursed to be a statue. And occasionally that curse reasserts itself. And if they see a pillar, they have an uncontrollable need to stand on top of it and pose, and they become a statue for a little while.
Okay.
Oh, no, look, that doesn't have to be the gameplay, but I kind of like the idea. It's almost, well, the place I went was Encino Man. But I'm not sure we want to actually take inspiration from that specifically, but I just meant fish out of water story with this person from, I don't know, the Middle Ages, I guess.
Okay.
Or something.
I I like the idea that
maybe it's
this
someone
person
specific.
who
Maybe
was
it's
frozen. Is actually not a bad guy or anything like that. He just happens to be fish out of water. He's sort of like your guide to, like, they know a little bit more than what you know about the curse.
Well, yeah, presumably they should have some idea of why they were cursed.
I like the idea that they're sort of like your sidekick as such throughout.
All right, well, let's come up with the
characters.
Let's come up with the characters a bit.
Yep.
So, okay, a man has been cursed in the past for some reason to become a statue.
Mm-hmm.
I think the archaeologist that finds him is a woman.
Yes.
Who?
Dr. Elaine
Bennis? Sorry. That's the first place my mind went, and now I can't help but picture Elaine as an archaeologist. And it's a real Seinfeld comedy situation. The way she finds out about it is she like gets surprised by something and she goes, "Get out," and pushes it and it falls over and breaks and the person comes out and it's Jerry. No, okay. The archaeologist, Elaine Roxworth.
Yep, I like it.
So she's got her team. She found out from her good friend Nathan Drake that there's a hidden civilization. That's just a name drop. He's not in it.
No. Is there another drop of, like you see on the side, like Lara Croft was here or something like that?
Totally. Yeah. She's like, this was too heavy for me. I just left it here so someone else can find it. And also you see Indiana Jones's hat. It's on the statue for no reason. You just left it there. So Elaine comes and she finds the statue and she wakes this guy up. And there's got to be a bit of a comedy aspect to it, right? I think it's kind of a comedy action in a way. Like you're trying to find out what happened to him.
Yep.
Maybe you're trying to get the curse lifted, I guess, because he does keep turning into statues. And so you get all these situations where, like, you know, you've dressed him up in modern day clothes because you're trying to get him out of the country and you're driving him across the border and he's fucking turned into a statue right before you hit the border. And so you have to explain away through a dialogue tree why you've got a statue of a person in your passenger seat and how the fuck did you get it in there? And why is your car leaning over to the side because it's so heavy? Because I
would love for there to be one of the options that I wanted to take the carpool lane.
Totally, exactly.
What unlocks the curse each time?
Right, so there's a trigger. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, we'd sort of need to figure out why he was cursed, perhaps. Maybe we can sort of make a bit of a statement. Maybe he's a real misogynist womanizer. And it was a woman who cursed him. And every time he thinks, like...
Every time he says something stupid like, make me a sandwich, bang.
Yeah, that's it. Like, every time he's a misogynist asshole to someone, and it seems to happen a lot, he turns into a statue for a little while. And so, right before they hit the border, he's like... checking out her legs and says something gross and turns into a statue. Okay,
so why does she want to unstatuize him if she's disgusted by this?
Well, because he's from the past, like she can find out so much about that time period that she's got someone, it's for her work, right? She's got someone who was there.
So what year is he from?
I don't know years. My history's terrible. You know, the time with the stuff, the dinosaurs. No.
Is he maybe like a 1930s or 1940s sort of around the time of Indiana Jones sort of...
Oh, I mean, I was thinking further back than that, but yeah, I mean, I guess...
I kind of like the 1950s and him having like the 1950s attitude of women should be in the kitchen and singing not heard.
I'm pretty sure that attitude's been around for a couple of millennia before that. But I mean, that defeats the purpose of it trying to like clear his curse, though, because if she wanted to know more about the 1950s, she could go ask her granddad.
Maybe it turns out that it is her granddad.
Maybe there's a relationship. Well, look, let's do if maybe the 1850s. Maybe it's a great granddad or something.
Who went missing,
or great or whatever. Yeah,
in this area.
And it turns out he's a complete prick. But
but as family, what do you do?
But it's family, yeah.
Okay, let's click again.
Yeah, okay. I guess that's good enough. Wait. Well, how does it end? Does she clear the curse? I guess she should. Or maybe she just decides this is too much of an asshole, gets what she needs out of him, says her goodbyes, and just like...
dusts him. As in, literally crumbles the statue that he turns into down to dust.
Right. Yeah, fair enough. It's like, bye, Gramps. Bye, Grandpa. Good riddance. All right, let's click again.
Corruption.
Solitary.
I thought you were about to say solitaire.
I was thinking of that. It's like, how do you do a version of solitaire that involves corruption? It's like if you put a three on a three of clubs on a four of hearts, then it corrupts that card and that's spreading a disease. And I don't know.
Okay, so it's based in a prison where there's lots of corruption,
presumably
up above. So
mostly from the people running the prison.
Yes, well, and
is that what you meant? Yeah.
At the very start of the game, you're a prisoner who gets sent to solitary confinement. Namely because the warden finds out that you're actually 100% innocent, a la Shawshank Redemption,
right?
And you know how the character who can actually testify that he didn't actually do it and all that sort of stuff gets shot by the warden. Spoiler. I think that could be sort of what's happened, that the warden has actually tipped his hand that he knows that he's innocent, but he's just a complete prick. So it's all about your character escaping out of solitary confinement and escaping the prison.
Okay. How?
How? This could be a sort of... I like it being a third-person action.
Okay. That's going to get really boring at the beginning. I like that. You're just like, all right, move in this direction. Oh, there's a wall. Okay, turn around. Let's see what's behind us. Oh, there's another wall. No, okay. So it's an action adventure. Obviously, it's again, we're doing a very narrative-heavy episode. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's relatively story-based at the beginning because the first scene you sort of wake up in solitary. Or you see yourself getting thrown in.
You wake up in solitary confinement and, there's a couple of little tasks that you can do in there, like...
scratch the date in the wall.
Maybe you've been allowed to bring a small rubber ball, so you throw the ball at the wall and catch it and that sort of stuff. And
look at your Rita Hayworth poster.
Yes. What happens is it goes into a couple of days earlier and tells you can, do some of the stories.
You play through like a bit of a flashback.
Yeah. So basically,
maybe the whole game, Memento style, is you just keep going back and back and back, leading up to that point of you being in solitary. And by the time you've played through all that, you know how to get out because it's obvious. Then you know who your friends are, you know who your enemies are, you know that they've set up that the fifth brick from the left is loose.
Okay.
I don't know. I just, when you said that it takes you back, I was thinking, well, maybe you go back to the original crime or, all the way back.
I was just more
leading
thinking,
up to that point.
More thinking that just being able to tell the story as to why you're in solitary confinement and also how you plan to get out. Then, of course, once time sort of makes its way up to you're now in solitary confinement. You actually get released at that point, and now it's time to put all the plan that you've put into place through, looking in the library and finding out that, in your best friend's cell, there's actually, a storeroom behind it, so you can work out how to get rid of some of the bricks.
So it's basically so it's a prison break game. That's fine. We don't have to go all the way back. That just made me think of that. It could have kind of been a cool mechanic. But no, I like this idea that maybe every time you're thrown into solitary, or maybe sort of each chapter starts with you being thrown into solitary or something. But then you kind of flash back a bit to what led up to it this time, with the plan kind of being made, coming clearer every single time. So that the final time you get thrown into solitary, you actually escape from solitary.
Yeah,
it's like this.
I thought that you were going to go with it.
It's this impossible escape. But yeah, through all the previous flashbacks, it's you talking to people and figuring this out and setting it up, the chain of events that will allow you to do that.
And
be cool.
it turns out that it's only like solitary confinement cell 3 that you could possibly get out of. So you have to get like 2 other people to be thrown into solitary confinement before you are.
Yep, because you look at the blueprints and like that's where the ventilation shaft is or whatever.
Enters, and if you push on the 3rd brick from just underneath the ventilation, it'll actually crumble something else, and I don't know.
Yeah. And someone set something else up. You can like reach through some bars and grab a key, or I don't know. We don't have to actually go through all the steps, but you can imagine how that could come together.
Yep.
That's cool.
Is there a long tunnel that they have to
crawl through?
And then Morgan Freeman comes over at the end and is like, Andy Dufresne crawled through a river of shit.
Totally. It's just literally Morgan Freeman. It's actually, he's not in it other than that. He just has that one line. And it's full, and weirdly, it's full motion video that they've overlaid onto the rendered game. It's very odd. Also, because your character's name isn't even Andy Dufresne. Like, they just threw this weird Shawshank, reference in there that's so blatant. Like, why would they do that? All right. 3, 2, and click.
Yeah.
Footprint.
Foam.
Yes. Foam footprint. Is this a game where you have to fake Bigfoot? Like, you have to convince people that Bigfoot is real.
Okay, yep.
I think it's a game where you make money by fleecing tourists, by convincing them that Bigfoot and perhaps other cryptids are real, and that they just missed them. Or that they managed to catch a blurry photograph of them.
Okay.
So you have to, maybe it's even sort of a bit of a buying and selling game. You have to find the right materials. It's like, someone's selling, a stuffed sloth. All right, I can use the fur from that. I'll take its skull and take its fur and turn that into, the partial dead remains of a Bigfoot. And then I'll take some tourists out there and they can take photos of it. And the foam comes in because, of course, you create casts with foam, fake foam feet to create Bigfoot footprints around.
Yep.
But you've got to get a good price on the foam.
Yeah.
It breaks apart very easily, and it's got to be good solid foam. You don't want to leave little bits of foam around because that'll give the game away.
I like the idea that maybe you've got to work out how to leave the right amount of tracks to sort of have people go back, sort of track it back to not necessarily a cave, but a fork that sort of then the tracks go off in both directions. And the sort of
right.
You've got to try and work out how to not totally screw up and lead people back to your car.
That's it, exactly. Yeah, you don't want to leave Bigfoot footprints to the back door of your house. And they come inside and see a Bigfoot costume and photos of all the people with words saying, ha ha, suckers.
So I like the idea that this is related to another game that we've actually done in the past.
Mm-hmm.
There happens to be a lake with
okay.
With a legendary swamp monster.
Of course. Yeah.
And
so that's one of the things.
That's one of the things that you're trying to fake.
Yeah.
But as an Easter egg, you can actually
run into it.
You can run into the some of the fishermen that
right. They tell the stories about it.
Yeah. So you know how in that game, basically the Swamp Thing was going up against all the fishermen.
Yes.
Basically, you can see the fishermen buying bait at your
right.
shop.
It's the same characters. Yeah.
It's the same characters.
Yeah. Sure. That's a good idea. But yeah, I like the idea that you got to fake that too. So you got to find the right type of seaweed and set it up so that when the people are looking, they see it for a second and then it gets sucked under the lake. It's like, oh, did you see it? It just dove under.
Not realizing that the thing is actually real and is actually killing all these.
Well, I don't know if that's part of this story. I think that's maybe just an Easter egg. But we'll just expand the lore around this creature. Maybe it's that you do it in a different lake. All the fishermen are telling you it's in that other lake, but you're like, this one's closer, and the people don't care anyway. We'll just tell them it's in this lake. So I guess I'm sort of like, what are we? Yeah, I like the idea of sort of having to buy and sell resources and setting up these different plans, and obviously the better, the better stuff that you buy to create these false sightings, maybe the more money you're going to make, and so it's a bit of an economics game, but also obviously choosing the right spots, and maybe you sort of discover new ways to do it as you go along, or new creatures to fake these things of.
But I like the idea that the more creatures that you have, the more chance that you'll get found out, because you got to set things up quicker.
Yeah, for sure. Or you can like hire people on to help you, but they might have loose lips and give it away, or not be as good at it. If you want to try to expand your operation, basically.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
That's cool. And then the final level is like. Or like the win condition is when you successfully convince the government that a UFO crashed.
Yeah.
Like that's the hardest people to convince and the hardest thing to do. But it's splashed across newspapers the next day that they found alien life. And you're just like, they paid you $3 billion for it.
Yeah, but then the Men in Black actually turn up and
totally
game starts over.
New game plus. Right. Let's click again.
No, let's not click again.
No? You don't figure out what New Game Plus is going to be?
No, this is what I'm going to do to you, Ben. Oh. What game are you most anticipating? Because you did it to me the other day, you prick.
Fuck. Oh, God. I don't know. All right. Let's do this one. I probably won't end up actually playing it that much, but the trailer was intriguing. And it's BioWare, and it's got a name that we can do something interesting with, so I'm going to go with Anthem.
Okay, awesome. So do you want to throw away everything that you know about it, which, given that they haven't really released much about it...
No, it's not much. It's not much. And yes, we'll come up with a new game idea based on the name, with the name being Anthem. I don't know. What comes to mind? Obviously, some sort of, song, I guess, or like some sort of... Yeah, like... I wonder how that comes into it in the real game. Anyway, that doesn't matter. We're throwing that away.
Okay. I like the idea that this is intergalactic.
Planetary, intergalactic, yep.
So basically what's happened is in some of the earliest transmissions... some
from Earth?
From Earth. Yeah. American scientists have sent out the national anthem of the United States of America.
Yeah.
And I like the idea that you end up getting like intergalactic space travel.
Yep.
And as you travel from place to place, basically it's all these places that you end up visiting have sort of taken on the anthem as to mean different things. And have sort of transformed their entire civilization around...
Okay, around this transmission of the Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah.
What do you know about the Star Spangled Banner? Okay, let's get the lyrics up. Oh, boy. Because I'm trying to think how people could interpret this. Is that really in there? Oh, I didn't realize they had "In God Is Our Trust" in the anthem.
Okay, let's change what it's done.
I like the general idea. I'm not clever enough to come up with interesting ways that the Star Spangled Banner could be interpreted. Maybe it's the Australian anthem. It's going to be even worse.
And basically every single one has a different meaning for what Gert actually
is. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say, Trevor. I was literally going to say that. Okay, I like this much better. So, in this world, Australia, in this universe, Australia has sent out one of the earliest powerful transmissions with their national anthem, Advance Australia Fair. And as you travel to these places, these planets, you see the way that this has affected their cultures. And so, some of them have terraformed to turn their soil golden soil and wealth for toil.
And they've sort of taken it different ways. So some have like put gold all the way down it. Some are just giving it gold showers.
Yeah, it's a planet where everyone just pisses outside. Like they decided to stop using toilets because this magical song came through the airwaves and told them that soil should be golden and our home is girt by sea, and we all know what that means. Piss on the ground.
In this other one, it's like anyone who needs to be executed are drowned by sea because they thought that girt actually meant killed by sea.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff around the sea because girt is it's not a commonly known word.
Yep.
Will toil with hearts and hands, and so like they literally sacrifice people and cut out their hearts
by ripping out their hearts
and take their hands off and fertilizing the ground with them. So it works really well. They've got beautiful plants, but it's a horrible place.
Okay.
And then I don't know, what do they think Australia is? Because like they say, Advance Australia Fair. Is it a fair? Is it one of the world's like the whole planet is just this traveling fair called Australia? They've got fucking Ferris wheels and merry-go-rounds and games, and they just
the entire planet.
The entire planet is just circling like, and it's a pretty large population, so it's not like there's a beginning and an end. They're just constantly migrating across the planet. It's one big circus, one big fair.
Kind of like if you know in the Star Wars universe, you got Coruscant, which is just like a global planet that is a city as well.
It's carniscent. They're all carnies. Yes. It's just a world full of carnies. The Australia Fair advancing across the planet endlessly.
Oh, God.
I want to go there. No, I don't. Anyway, I think on that horrific note, Planet of Carnies, we will end the show.
I think so.
So, thank you for joining us this week, everybody. If you want to find us online, we're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, Bitstormcast. On all of those, we have a Facebook group, facebook.com/group/Bitstorm, and we're on Podchaser. Check out our new search. It's awesome. Podchaser.com/Bitstorm. That's not the search, that's our page, but you know what I mean.
We are on iTunes, where you can also rate and review us, and also subscribe to us. We've got a website, bitstormcast.com. We'd like to plug our friends at the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network. Just search for AGPN on Twitter or search for the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network on Facebook and join the public group, and you'll see us and a whole heap of other people. They're all awesome, all have awesome podcasts. Check them out. Finally, we'd like to thank us, Incurridust, for the song Mount Defiance off of the album Containment Failure.
That's right. And so, again, thank you for joining us this week. I am Ben Slinger.
I am Trevor Scott.
See you next week.
Oh, bother.